Hi guys, and welcome back to Yashi with a real estate update today. In this update, it's looking really good if you're a home seller. It's looking really bad if you're a home buyer, especially after you've been believing all these YouTubers telling you that a crisis is coming, home prices are coming down and everything. And let me show you why. Let's hit record and let's start with mortgage rates. Up until now, all of 2022, since March, the Federal Reserve has been increasing interest rates for a while now, and the only thing we've been seeing is mortgage rates going up and up and up and up. They surpassed 7% a few weeks ago, but 2 weeks ago, as the inflation report came out better than expected, banks started becoming a little bit more optimistic and interest rates dropped under 7%, all the way to today's 6.665% on a 30-year mortgage. What does this mean? It is now cheaper to get a 30-year mortgage on a house. It's now cheaper to buy a house and pay the monthly payment. It is now more affordable to buy a house. On paper, just considering interest rates. Now let's look at what consequences these lower interest rates had. First of all, mortgage applications climbed back up, especially on the home purchasing section, not the refinance section, which is good news. If you look here on the graph, this is the application chart that we have from the MBA market index, and as you can see here, it mostly went down throughout the whole year and it is starting to pick back up little by little. Let's look at housing market. So we know that it is now a little bit more affordable to get a mortgage. What about the housing market? Is the housing supply going up as everybody's expecting? As I've been telling you in the past couple of months, the housing supply might start stalling and actually come back down. And that trend finally started to happen. If we look at active listings, active listings right here, this black line is 2022. It started to climb back up because buyers were buying less and more home supply was starting to kick in. But now that home sellers don't want to sell anymore, the home supply started plateauing and now it's finally starting to go back down. It officially surpassed the 2021 levels, but now the trend is going back down. So we'll see if by the end of 2022 it will reach again the super low 2021 levels, or if it might get there towards the beginning of 2021. And why do I believe this? Because if you look at new listings in the US market, this is all of the US, new listings, so all the new homes that are coming on the market on a monthly basis are now super low after picking up in the beginning of 2022. They're now lower than 2021. So we now have the lowest trending amount of new listings coming every month in the history of the United States, which is kind of scary. Let's talk about foreclosure. Foreclosures have been a big discussion among YouTubers in the past couple of months, saying that they're up 100%. Yeah, but 100% compared to what? If you look at the data here, 100% compared to what we have during COVID. And in COVID, we know that there was a forbearance, a moratorium. You were not able as a bank to foreclose on a property. So if the percentage of foreclosures was, 1, if you had 10 foreclosures in all of 2021 and now you have 20, that's 100% increase in foreclosures. But overall, if you look at the numbers, we are still below pre-pandemic levels. So foreclosures are actually the lowest they ever have been in the history of the United States. If somebody tells you that they're very high, it is a lie, because if you look at the data, it is a lie. Let's go on with Reuters. US new home sales unexpectedly rise in October. After seeing 6 months of decline in US home sales, which led to sellers being scared, in some cases dropping prices in super hot markets like, for example, California or Florida, we now start seeing sales climbing back up in October. And keep in mind that in October, interest rates were still above that 7% level. So it was even before this whole mortgage application increase that we saw in the past couple of weeks, and even before the lower than 7% interest rates that we saw in this month of November. Last but not least, let's look at home building data. As I told you, by looking at the Redfin data, home supply is going down. So home supply is a mix between home sellers that are selling their house they already own to buy something else, or home builders building new homes. And if you look at data, historically speaking, permits, starts, and completion of homes, although still around 1.5 million for the year, they're still lower and down compared to last year. Why? Home builders are scared about the market conditions, so they're trying to finish up whatever they started, but they're pulling out less permits compared to before. They're preparing for a slower demand than ever before. But if we look at what we just looked at in terms of the other data, it seems like demand is starting to pick back up. On top of that, although these interest rates are pretty high, it seems that it also happens in the past, as people get used to these new interest rates, that 6% will become more and more acceptable and buyers will come back in. The problem is builders are building less, they're pulling less permits, and they're getting scared. On one side we have sellers selling less, on the other we have builders building less. We could get into a super critical home shortage, maybe even worse than what we saw during the pandemic, which could lead to another boom in housing prices, especially in areas that did not boom as much as they did during COVID, like California and Florida. It seems like all the attention from media is now onto these bigger markets that, yes, dropped in prices, but because they had an unsustainable growth. If you look at the rest of America, for example, Virginia, where I invest in a city with 70,000 people living in it, there's only 150 homes for sale. 150 is a good inventory for a dealership, one car dealership, not for the entire housing market of a city. That is not sustainable in my opinion. And based on what we're seeing here, it's looking good for if you're a home seller, but not really good if you're a home buyer. If you're a home buyer, maybe it could be a good time to buy now before people get used to this new status quo, start understanding that there's no homes for sale, and may flood the market again as it happened during COVID. Guys, that's all for now. Let me know what you think. Here's some data that is different from what you normally see around YouTube channels and media outlets. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're thinking about buying a house. If you're in Virginia, guys, I'm a realtor. Hit me up. I can help you out with finding a house or even selling a house. Thank you for watching. Ciao.